Should Russel Martin be sacked? On this channel, I cannot believe we are asking that question, but Southampton fans have had enough. Get him gone, Twitter have said. So we're here to discuss that and preview the Watford game and discuss that Blackburn 0-0 with Joe, our Southampton fan. How are you, Joe?
Yeah, good. Thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, good. Thank you. I can see you nodding along then. So we'll go straight away for the obvious question. Russel Martin, should he be the manager of Saints next season?
Absolutely not. No. I mean, the problem I found with him over the last couple of weeks is that he's far too stubborn for his own good. Don't get me wrong. Seems like a lovely bloke and he's really got a togetherness around the club over all age groups, but his tactics just aren't the right ones. Like, he sets us up most of the time to fail in a game and not get the best out of our players, in mine and a lot of other Southampton fans' opinions at the moment.
For a neutral, to hear that from you, who obviously has been so positive and loving the football this season and loving this, it's really hard to listen to. And if you're a Southampton fan watching this and you disagree why you should stay, please comment. Please comment below now so that neutrals can understand it. Was it not the case that you've just had a difficult set of fixtures? Blackburn don't lose at home. They're going to make it difficult for you. Or is it I think that the fact that you've missed out on that chance to go into the automatics, is that what fans are most annoyed about, that the team have lost their fight just at the crucial stage of the season?
Yeah, I think so. I think the problem is every single year Southampton get to this stage of the season where they just think they're on the beach and they think they can just coast on through and it will all be roses and rose-tinted glasses. But unfortunately, we're finding out the hard way that that's not the case this year. I mean, I still think we'll be okay for playoffs, but there's no guarantee that even if for some reason we do get past West Brom, there's no guarantee that we even win the playoffs. And if for some godforsaken miracle we do go up, then this system's going to get found out so quickly against the likes of Man City, Liverpool, God, even Man United and Chelsea, for goodness sake. So I don't know. I think a lot of fans are getting a little bit fed up with just the constant saying everyone's been superb when it quite evidently hasn't been a great match. Like, yes, we drew against Blackburn away, but that's a team that we should, on paper, be beating. Like, we should be putting 2 or 3 past them at any given chance. But yes, they were superb and they defended really, really well. But the team selection was just way too negative. And I feel like we just need to stop always trying to shoehorn Jack Stephens into the bloody left back role, because he's not a left back. He's a centre half.
The comments on Twitter I saw was that 2 points out of 9 clearly isn't good enough.
Mm-hmm.
And if he doesn't get you promoted with this squad, as I think you said last week, players will leave. You will lose your best players. So there is a huge amount of pressure now on getting promoted, isn't it? Beating West Brom, which you've done twice already this season, haven't you? So
yep.
Put that to a side. Then it's either, was probably likely to be Norwich, and then the other one of the 3 who doesn't go up. So this is still winnable, but if there's risk of him losing the fans, if don't beat Watford, who are undefeated under Tom Cleverley, this could end up being really sour finish to the league, couldn't it?
Yeah, it really could. And I mean, I noticed that our downfall really started. I know I keep harping on about it week in, week out, but our downfall started when we tried to fit in Jack Stephens into a makeshift backline. Like, we went 25 unbeaten for a reason, because we had a tried and tested solid back 4, and it worked. And I mean, I've been no saviour and grace to Brian Manning over this season, but he was decent when we were in that run, because he had the players around him that could help him out when it went wrong. But Stephens is just a huge liability. So I do think it is turning a little bit sour. And I also think that some fans forget that Martin was Wilcox's bloke. He was the one that Wilcox went after and wanted from the get-go. Now, he's jumped ship. He's gone to Man United. So there's no guarantee that whoever comes in or the board of directors will say, well, actually, Martin wasn't our guy in the first place, so we'll go out and get someone else that plays a similar style of football but is more attractive, in a sense.
You think there's a vulnerability now that Wilcox has gone that Martin may follow?
Yeah. Because I think those two, behind the scenes, they got on really well. Now, Jason Wilcox came out and said, yeah, I wanted him from the get-go. Like, he said that at the beginning of the season, and we were all for it because it was like, yeah, it's a new breath of fresh air. It's a young coach. It's someone that hasn't won much, but it's a good style of play that can be good when it works. But I just feel like it hasn't worked as well as we'd have hoped, because we've got a squad that should be easily top two, easily by a country mile. I mean, Ipswich have come out of nowhere and have surprised everyone this season. So it's kind of a different table to be reading at this stage, because you kind of expected it would be Leicester, Leeds and Saints going back up, but Ipswich have kind of pushed their name into the hat, so to speak.
Okay. All right. It still might. I mean, one of the things that struck me is Flynn Downs' place. You've got, I think, more centre midfielders than any other position at that squad, and the inability to have filled that place with anyone consistently is I think has been, for me anyway, as a neutral watching parts of Southampton, been the downfall this season, where you've got so many draws, even in that winning run. How far do you agree with that as one of Martin's least sort of favourite areas that he's coped with well this year?
Yeah, completely agree. I mean, as soon as Flynn Downs isn't in that team, we look completely lost in that midfield area. Like, when Flynn Downs was injured against, I can't remember where it was through Bristol City and that awful run that we had, we were trying Will Smallbone at CDM. Now, he is not a defensive midfielder. He is better playing through the lines as an 8 or a 10. So I do think Martin has got to take that on the chin and say, well, actually, I got those selections wrong. And even if it was trying Shea Charles there, who was a defensive midfielder, yes, I know he's only 19, 20, but that's his position, and like he can play that well. So if he does have to experiment again, I would much rather see a more fitting player to the defensive midfielder role than a Smallbone or a Rebo or someone like that.
Okay. All right, reasons to be positive then. First of all, the draw against Blackburn was your first clean sheet in 6 games. So good that good that you stopped the draw. 75 points is only 3 short of where you were during the 11-12 season where you were promoted. Now, in that season, there wasn't a Leeds, or there wasn't an Ipswich, and there wasn't a Leicester. But the points tally that Southampton are going to probably finish with in other seasons might have been good enough just to take them up. So, as much as fans might be frustrated at the moment, we are in a unique season in the Championship. And then imagine if you can keep that squad together. If you don't go up this year, you should be champions. Should be champions next year, because the 3 coming down clearly shouldn't belong in the Premier League. But all right, let's get your score predictions then. Watford are a team that you've played already 3 times this year, twice in the FA Cup, and you've managed to squeak out 1-1 draw, 1-1 draw, and a 3-0 win. So it's not been too easy these games against Watford, and this is a Tom Cleverley side which is undefeated so far under his management. So this is going to be another tough game for you. How do you see it going?
I think it'll be very difficult. I think from what I've seen of Watford, they're really playing for him. I know he was an ex-player for them, so I know they've kind of got that loyalty to him or whatever, but I've been very impressed with them. I think their turnaround's been superb. I'd like to say that I think we're going to be good enough to win, but I said that last week and it went back to bite me on the arse. So I'm going to go for a tried and tested 1-1 draw.
Okay. A Watford fan on his channel on this was talking about how Southampton are the bogey side. They never seem to beat Southampton. So this is a good chance to get this all with 3 points and maybe even close the gap up to to up to third. You never know what might happen. But thanks for joining us, Joe. If you're a Southampton fan, please put a comment below about whether or not you believe Russel Martin should be out of a job at the end of this season. No one's asking for it to be sacked now, of course, but should he be gone? And if so, who would you sooner have in place? Thank you, Joe. Good luck against Watford, and we'll catch you next week for the final run-in. Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you.